Hello there, thank you for joining us for another episode of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. I'm one of the hosts, Gregory Baird, and this is my co-host, Christine.
Hi, and this is Mopey Kitty.
Yeah, seems to be kind of in a down mood today.
She's a bit
Not
depressed.
sure why.
Well, we had a little flood in the basement and you had to move things around. I don't think she liked that. All the vacuuming and stuff.
Or maybe it's just because it's colder out now.
It is. Fall came today. It really did.
So this is a show where we don't talk about cats all the time. We talk about all things in pop culture that we love. New and old movies, books, trailers, TV and streaming shows. Breaking down today's show, we're going to have a few things to talk about. We got a new trailer this week for the new Hunger Games movie that's coming out. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Then we got a whole bunch of reviews. I'm going to be doing a review for the new Expendables 4 movie. We're both going to be talking about A Haunting in Venice that came out last week. That's a spoiler-free review. Christine's going to review The Wheel of Time Season 2, Episodes 5 and 6. Then Christine's going to review the current 8 episodes that we have for Only Murders in the Building, Season 3. Is it any good?
Yes, I like it.
Good. We're both, I'm going to talk a spoiler review for Star Wars Ahsoka, Episode 6. We'll talk briefly about Futurama, the new episode for the Season 11, Episode 9. We're only going to talk about for just a couple of minutes there. We'll have time for some more Chakotay's Odyssey, our Star Trek Voyager segments. And we're going to get into another Tarantino movie reviewing Inglorious Basterds that we watched. And then for The Power of Family, that's part 4, Fast and Furious 4 on Stranger Tides. And then we got a whole bunch of viewer comments for the end. So thank you very much to anyone who left us a comment.
Thank you.
There will be time codes down in the description below in case you want to jump ahead to any of the different parts. So let's get into it right away. The trailer for the new Hunger Games movie. I think this is the 5th Hunger Games movie.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I only saw the first one.
I saw the first one. I saw it on an airplane. Bad. It was a bad airplane journey as well.
Okay.
Bad one. Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up on Rotten Tomatoes.
For a Hunger Games movie, it does look rather interesting
Mm-hmm.
from the trailer, but I don't like the Hunger Games because I find that there's no emphasis on human life at all, and I really don't like that, and I don't think it's a positive influence in society today because we need less of that kind of thing.
About people killing each other for sport?
Yeah. We kind of need less of that. The world's a violent place, and we shouldn't be celebrating it, I don't think.
Well,
that's why I don't like those movies.
There's 4 movies, so I was right. I think this is the 5th one then, but it doesn't have Jennifer Lawrence in it. It doesn't have Liam Hemsworth or Josh Hutcherson.
They grow old. See, they get older.
But as for this trailer,
yes,
this trailer didn't do anything for me.
Oh, I thought it was a good trailer. But I don't want to see it.
Didn't make me excited for this property at all. I'm probably going to go see it anyway.
Oh, are you? Have you seen any of the other? You haven't seen anything other than the first one.
I saw the first one, but this is a prequel, so it's years before.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be years or decades before, so I don't think you really need to. Also, you shouldn't have to watch 4 other movies to watch this one movie.
I don't know if Donald Sutherland is in it, but you hear his voice in the trailer anyway.
The trailer did nothing for me, even though it's got Viola Davis in it, who's great in everything.
Yeah, and she gets to dress real crazy.
This world, yeah, it's got really crazy fashion and designs and everything.
I don't have a problem with that. I just really don't think we should be celebrating that kind of thing in this world today. People are getting so isolated from each other and just looking at each other as objects to kill. I don't think that's a good message. In my mind.
I don't know what the message of this movie is. I haven't seen it. I'd rather say put, fake killing on movies so that we don't do it in real life.
Yeah, but I just think it celebrates it too much and makes it look too glamorous.
Maybe.
That's my point.
Maybe. Anyway, I don't have anything against the first one. The first movie that I did see, or any of the other ones, which I haven't seen, they just weren't for me, so I didn't check out anymore. But I'll check out this one, see what happens. If there's any big fans of the Hunger Games out there, let us know down in the comments below. What'd you think of this trailer? Did it get you really excited for another one? Do you think this is going to flop because it doesn't have the stars from the previous movies? I don't know.
They don't have the stars from the previous movies because that's not how it goes. There's new people every time because they all get killed.
No, the other four had all the same people.
Somebody wins it eventually, but I mean that's the whole thing of this Hunger Games is they're all dead at the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's not for me, but I think if you are a fan of Hunger Games, you're probably gonna like this one because it looks like it breaks down some barriers and does something different.
Maybe. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, please. Moving into our reviews, I did a short spoiler-free reaction for the new Expendables movie that is new out this weekend, so you can watch that reaction on my channel. I can talk about this a little bit more, I guess, in non-spoilers. I
didn't want to go.
It's a pretty generic action movie. There's nothing that's all that great in it. Unfortunately for me, I found there was way too much cuts and shaky cam instead of having good choreography and things practiced out there.
Seeing as a bunch of old guys and a chick. That's essentially what it is.
No, there's two women.
Oh.
There's two women on the team.
Two chicks. Are they both blonde?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, one of them's Megan Fox. She's in the trailer. Well, the interesting thing about this I can say is that a lot of the stuff that I saw in the trailer, a lot of the stuff about Statham and Megan Fox fighting in that, a lot of that, it's not in the movie. Like, it's extra scenes that they shot that they cut out.
Too much women in the movie. You need to cut the percentage of the women time.
No, I mean, look.
To be all the old geezers.
Megan Fox is in this movie, and no offense to her, but she doesn't really do anything in this movie. Okay? And I'm not sure whether it's her choice or the producer's choice or the director, but I mean, how she looks, if she looks great, but she doesn't look like she's going to go on like this secret guerrilla mission, this mercenary mission.
She's eye candy for the movie.
I mean, she's wearing lots of makeup. She's got her hair done.
She's
wearing these tight leather pants.
Yeah.
Bare midriff. I mean, I guess she's been working out and she's got abs, so great.
I don't think this movie is something that empowers women. It seemed to me when I saw the trailer, that's what it is. She's the chick, she's the eye candy, and it's a bunch of old guys and celebrating old masculinity.
Well, there's a lot of jokes in it. The old guys are ripping on each other for being so old and having so many problems. Dolph Lundgren, he was probably my favorite of it.
Does he have a lot of arthritis? That would be funny.
I can't remember which of these Expendables movies that I've seen. I know I've seen some of them. But apparently Dolph Lundgren's character was a drunk. And so he gets a little bit of his own story arc. It's a small story arc, but it's actually quite funny. So that was good. There's a lot of knife fighting in it. Because they made it prominent in the trailers. Like, this is rated R. There's going to be blood and guts. I think they released a Red Band trailer.
Yeah.
I don't recommend this movie because, I mean, if you enjoy, Statham and these Expendables movies, and it's just generic action, probably have a fun time, but there's nothing that stands out this. I'm never going to watch this again. I had a fun time. I enjoyed, one of the things I thought of was, all those awards movies that we went to go see last year? And I saw a whole bunch of them. Remember we saw The Whale, and I saw The Sun, The Fabelmans. There's a whole bunch of awards movies I saw last year, and most time awards movies, they're not good. Well, this movie, I actually enjoyed it more than those awards movies.
You don't like any movie that's usually not involving some kind of action or...
Not true.
Big high stakes.
Not true at all. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once, I enjoyed that, and that was an awards movie.
Action?
Not really.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
No, we're not talking about that. Okay. Expendables. I could spoil some things, but I'm not going to get into it. I give this the worst movie ever on the internet rating system. If you disagree, sure, let me know down in the comments below. What did you love about this? Is it great? Are you a big Expendables fan? Maybe you're a big fan of Stallone or Statham or Dolph Lundgren. Whatever. Feel free to leave us a like down below. Fluffy Kitty will appreciate that. Our next review is, we're going to do a spoiler-free review for A Haunting in Venice that we just saw yesterday. So no spoilers here. This is the new Kenneth Branagh film.
Yeah.
And this is the third in his Hercule Poirot movie series that Kenneth Branagh is doing. Have you been a fan of these movies?
Well, it's always nice to see the character come to life, but I kind of preferred the show more than I did the movie.
What's the show called?
Well, the Poirot show.
It's called the Poirot Show?
No, it was called Poirot, I guess. I don't remember what it was.
Is that a British show?
Yeah, it was excellent.
Okay, so this one, it's only an hour and 43, so pretty good with time. Currently has a 79% certified fresh critic rating and a 76% audience score. Give us your thoughts on this movie there, dear.
Well, it was a good enough movie, but I didn't feel like it was that true to the author and how she would do a book. Thought it was a bit off. Didn't feel like it was something Agatha Christie would write. Well, I guess what the murder weapon was right away. Hers are always like so much information, and you don't know right away like who did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that out right away, and then so there was like I knew there was only a couple suspects. I don't think she would give it away like that.
Okay, we're not going to give away.
No.
It's still a classic murder mystery.
Yeah,
whodunit. Now they try and change it up and make it more of a scary kind of thriller.
More of a scary movie.
With try and have jump scares in it, but it wasn't really scary things. It's more just, hey, jump scare. Hey, another jump scare. I didn't find it scary.
No.
The mystery, well, I guessed completely wrong on who it was.
Oh.
Like, completely wrong. I'm like, I know who it is. It's that character right there.
Okay.
That was completely wrong. So, I'm terrible at these things. This, to me, as I said in my reaction video, this is the worst of the three for me. I found Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile to be much more interesting.
The Orient Express is like a better one I found than Death on the Nile, just as a book. But they're excellent books.
People don't like the ending to Murder on the Orient Express.
It's nice to see them come together in film. It's always nice to see that. This one, I felt, I was trying to make it into a scary movie. I loved the setting though.
Oh, the setting was amazing.
That was what was amazing about it. And the way that they filmed, I loved it. I loved that part of it. But I didn't feel like it was that true to Agatha Christie herself.
So the setting to me felt exactly like it's in Venice.
Fabulous.
Okay? So I don't know if they actually shot in this old house or if they built it, but the production value for the setting was great. The lighting, because it has this dark, creepy vibe.
Oh, yes.
But you can still see what's going on.
No, that was
that
excellent.
was great. The cinematography that they used, the different shots, all that was great.
Yeah.
The score, soundtrack, didn't notice it, so there's nothing to say about it.
Good movie, but I didn't feel like it was that true to her writing.
Isn't it? Well, this is based off her Halloween party story, which isn't that a short story?
I didn't read it. I didn't want to read it until I saw the movie. I'm going to read it now.
This is not something I would have picked to adapt, but oh well, hey, it's Kenneth Branagh's choice there. He's a good filmmaker, and he knows what he's doing. Like I said, this is the weakest of the three for me. I'm not going to dwell it. Some of the things that I liked in it, the setting, the lighting, the cinematography, so even the direction. This wasn't as star-studded of a cast as the previous two. But I still enjoyed the cast to a certain extent. You got Michelle Yeoh in there. Who else was in it there besides Kenneth Branagh?
The other thing about it is that it didn't have as many characters as most of her
Tina Fey
stuff either.
No, you're right.
It didn't have as many characters in it, which was also odd because hers usually has like I don't know. There's a lot of people. Like compared to the other two movies, is like it had a giant cast, right? It had a very reduced number of people involved in it.
Yeah, normally hers have at least a dozen or more.
Yeah. Well, there's other two movies I made. There's some limitations.
Well, this one kind of started out with a dozen.
There are
or
some
maybe
other
just
books
underneath
that don't have that many characters. But anyway, it was great the way it was put together. I just felt it's a little
story was a bit lacking.
I don't know if she would have liked it. Yeah, I don't know if she would have liked that.
I don't know. This one didn't really work for me, so wrapping it up because we're not going to go on too much about it. We said what we liked about it. What kind of rating would you give this one?
I'd probably give it like an 86.
86, that high?
Yeah, because it was a good movie. I just feel for Agatha Christie, it wasn't hitting the mark.
I found it, yeah. This was kind of boring for me. And it was kind of, what are we doing this for? I mean, if you're, as I said in my reaction, if you're a big fan of these old style murder mystery Agatha Christie films, or if you're just a big Kenneth Branagh fan, you're gonna like it. But for me, this didn't really work for me, and I give this the worst movie ever because it's just too blah. Okay, I'd rather go watch the first two than this one again.
It needed Hastings in it. It would have made it a little bit more fun.
Let us know your thoughts on A Haunting in Venice, which is new out this weekend. You can always give us a like, a thumbs up. Penny Kitty here would really appreciate that. Maybe she'll come back for more appearances there.
Yes, she's in our show today. Beautiful Penny.
Moving on to our next review. Christine, you watched episode 5 for Wheel of Time?
Yes.
Excellent. So that's the newest one that just came out on Friday.
Yeah, in this one, although it did, I don't know, maybe it's better portrayed in the books. We see, spoiler review. Spoiler. Leandrin, she's like the red girl. She's always been evil. Like, I was like, well, if they're all supposed to be working together, why do they put up with her crap? Because she's always like meddling and being really nasty and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like, why doesn't someone like tell her to stop that?
Smack her around?
They're kind of making it seem like that's the way the reds are. Moraine is a blue, and then there's yellows and greens or whatever. I don't know.
Question. What's Domain? That's the name of this episode. Domain.
I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
I don't know what Domain is. Anyway, it's basically, yeah, she's working for the Dark Lord.
Who's the Dark Lord?
This is what
Sauron?
the whole thing is about. This is what the whole thing is about. I don't know. I'm kind of confused about that. We have like a guy that they're bowing down to as a leader now. We've seen him, but he's not necessarily the Dark One. I don't really know who the Dark One is, or if he's not back yet. I'm a bit confused over that.
No, it's Sauron. He's in hiding.
Well, it could be like a Sauron type of thing.
This is pre Rings of Power first season.
It's not clear. We have like the guy that they release, and he's just a henchman, and he's releasing more henchmen, and Leandrin has been working for him, and he delivers the girls to them, but 2 of them get away.
Mm-hmm.
They have the other one, and they showed a preview of the next season, and it looks like she goes through hell. Meanwhile, the guy that turns into a wolf, he's off on his own, and he's off on his own thing, and he's meeting up with some other people, and he runs into those white jerks again. And
what white jerks?
There's these white jerks who keep on killing all the Aes Sedai, and I don't know what. I don't really understand where they're into the whole thing. Anyway, they're there. They're a-holes, and they hate women by the sounds of it. Anyway, and then we have Rand and Moraine are running from the succubus woman that was released by the dark guy. She's real evil, and we see how evil she is, and they're running, and then Moraine has to go home. She went home in the last episode, and we see where she comes from, and she's the older. Her younger sister is now like in 70 or something. And Moraine, of course, looks like she's at the most like 40.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't age very much. So this is her younger sister, and her nephew is going to wed the princess, and they're going to rule the land. But she's led the succubus to them, essentially.
Okay, so the succubus, who is she succubus? Who she attached herself to?
Rand. He fell for the first girl that paid attention to him.
Of course.
He's just like a hick boy from the Two Rivers. And she just caught into him. It didn't take much at all, and he like fell for her. And she like, apparently she goes into your dreams and like haunts you, so they're not allowed to go to sleep. And
that's even worse than a succubus.
Yeah, she's really bad. She's Lanfear is her name, and she's a nasty creature. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on. We didn't see the other fella, the one that turned to the dark side. We haven't seen him in this episode. He's run off with the lady that can see the future. She's haunted by images of
Okay,
the
so there's a
future.
lot of guys just going off with random women in
Well,
this
she's
show.
also a double agent, but she doesn't want to be. She's leading him
She
astray.
into this guy?
No, she doesn't even seem like she's into guys. Anyway, she can see the future and she's haunted by that. She sees all the horrible things that are going to happen to people.
Mm-hmm.
And the haunts are going. But we haven't seen them, I don't even think, in the last episode or this episode. Anyway, that's what's going on. So Leandrin was evil and she lured the girls to the evilness. But 2 of them got away and they have some friends they found.
Is it actually called the evilness?
I don't know. I'm a bit confused myself. See, it's really complicated and they're not really portraying it, I don't think, that well. Like, there's a king they're bowing to, but they're talking about overtaking him. But who is the actual Dark One? I don't know. We haven't seen him or her. I think it's a him.
Do the characters know who it is? Do they talk about
the
it?
bad guys know, but I'm confused over who that is. We haven't, and like, I don't get it. Anyway, I'm not understanding it. There's something I missed. I don't know. I think this has been the problem. Like, the first episode, we didn't get what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get it at the very end. We only get it now, what happened in season 1.
How are the characters? Are they still really wooden?
They're all, like, terrified and running for their lives at this point. So, yeah, they are not telling many jokes.
Or they're swooning over succubuses.
Well, they're being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, boys from a hick town. Anyway, I don't know. If someone else can help me there and explain to me, because I don't understand. Because the guy we thought was the Dark One is just one of his henchmen.
Yeah. If you know, because you've read the books, let Christine
I'm
know.
confused.
And help her out there, okay?
Oh, yeah, and the bad guy, the king, gives really bad mani-pedis. You learned that.
Why is the king giving mani-pedis? What's going on there? You should have led with
manis
that.
Anyway. I haven't seen the petties. We haven't got that far. That's the next element of torture.
Who's he giving the manicures to?
They all have these silly long nails like Florence Griffith Joyner, and that's their punishment if they do wrong. He chops their nails off. And it's like now they're like embarrassed.
And
it's like really bad.
Okay, I guess.
I don't know. I'm a bit confused as the whole thing. So that's what's going on.
So nails in this world are a sign of respect and status.
For the bad guys, but the dark guy, the guy that we've been seeing all along, he doesn't have long nails, but the king does. And this lady that she has like these very scary forces, and she has all these women, and they have these things plugs in their mouth, and they're very scary. Mm-hmm. She wants all the women. She wants all the ones with power. With the force or whatever it is. So
we don't know what domain is. It's not place or...
I don't know what domain is. They were going to a place, but that wasn't the name of it. I don't know. It's a lot going on. Maybe I'll watch... I think I might start from the beginning of this season and watch again, because maybe I've missed something, but I'm a bit confused to tell you the truth. I
usually find that helps with new stuff to watch the episodes a couple times. That's what I've done with Ahsoka, but we're not talking about that right now. So, any final thoughts on this episode? Is it getting better compared to the first season?
There's a lot going on in this season. There's a lot of... You can see there's many different paths, so it's an interesting story.
Okay, so there's lots of plot threads.
Yeah.
But is it better than the first season?
It's definitely better because it's not just these people all traveling together and we don't know exactly what they're doing with these wooden characters. So it is better, just that the story's getting more complicated. But I'm not understanding exactly what's happening.
Okay, so Christine's confused about what's going on in Wheel of Time. Anyone else out there watching it? Are you enjoying it? Maybe you hate it. We've got comments from people that one person loved it, one person doesn't love it, and they both read the book. So let us know your thoughts. Want to hear from you? Feel free to give us a like there. That'll make Penny Kitty really happy.
Yeah, she's so good today. I played with her a lot this morning, so I guess she's now resting.
Okay, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe for more content. Next, Christine is going to review the new episode for Wheel of Time Season 2. Episode 6.
Yes. Well, you were asking me the name of the last episode was. You were saying a domain. It's Demone. So now I think that would be a better title for this episode because this is what it was all about. The Demone are basically the slaves.
This one is called Eyes Without Pity. Okay, so spoiler review. Go ahead, lay it on us.
So the Damane are slaves, basically. They're the women they have slaves, but they're also, we find out there's men that they have slaves, too.
Are these sex slaves?
No, they were serving up. The men were serving up drinks and appetizers.
Okay, so it's just.
But the women are locked in a prison and chained up with a collar, a prison collar, we'll call it. It's pretty bad. They get beat up and everything because the women are the only women they take. Well, the ones we've seen are the ones that have the power. So they put a collar on them so only they can control their power, and they're basically slaves. So it was actually, this episode had a lot going on. It was pretty good. I still haven't seen the bad guy that they're all talking about. We've never seen that person yet. But it has a lot going on, and Rand and Matt meet each other. So we actually have some of them reuniting.
What's the main character doing? Moraine. What's she up to?
Well, Moraine has been shown to be extremely rude in a lot of episodes, and her rudeness is called out in this one. I really don't care for Moraine at all.
Is she the villain?
She treats people like slaves. No. But she's not a very nice character. Anyway, her sister calls her out on it, and she's a little bit nicer, but she's extremely rude. Like, she's used to being waited on or something, and she's like very arrogant like that. Anyway, she's I don't know, she's suffering because she doesn't have the power anymore. She really has it, but she can't reach it. So maybe we'll see her reaching it at some point, but she has no connection to it.
She lost her magic?
Yeah. What they thought they were doing was beating the Dark One. They ended up just releasing one of his soldiers, that Ishmael, and he was able to sever her power from her at the end of the last season. So she doesn't have the power, and she realized that she really screwed up because basically instead of fighting, they basically started this whole thing that will eventually become the last battle. They thought that was the last battle. Instead, it was a prisoner release system.
So really, if she hadn't done anything, things would be better.
And people don't know what's going on. And we see it's making a little bit more sense, because I find this is the problem with the show. There's a lot of stuff you don't quite get. Basically, the Aes Sedai are really blind to what's been going on, and they actually have got a bunch of them captured. They've been killed by these bad people, or they actually have one of the Moraine's chief commander, the one that bosses her around, is actually Damane now as well. You see that at the very end. Spoiler. And poor Egwene is in there getting beat to crap.
This review's all spoilers, so
it's all spoilers. Anyway, it's bad. It's bad, and Rand has gone off with the succubus. And I don't know, it's bad. Things are looking real bad for the Earth, and the Aes Sedai don't know what's going on. They're completely cut off from it, and they're trying to rescue Egwene, and then at the end we see that the main Aes Sedai, the Amelin seed, has come to talk to Moraine, but they're still far away from the action and don't really know what's going on.
Okay. This all sounds like gibberish to me,
okay.
But I'm not watching
They're in trouble. The world is in trouble, and they don't realize it. It's like Sauron has his army and is at the gates, and nobody seems to know.
Okay, so Sauron's coming, but
they haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, they haven't been preparing.
They don't have enough spies around, and they need to know this information, and they're completely blind. But is it because too many of them are working for the Dark One? That is the question. We've already seen that one of them has been working for the Dark One, and in this they actually think that one of the main characters, who is Moraine's guy, they think he's working for the Dark One at one point.
This series has been running for a while. Obviously, it's in its second season, and it's on Prime, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is this series so far better than that first season we got for Rings of Power from Prime?
I don't think you can really compare them.
Really, they're both fantasy magical worlds.
Yeah, but the thing is about this is already a set of books that is very successful and people really enjoy them, and I think this is not doing it service, whereas the other thing was not a book. It was taken from all of the books and put together to give us a prehistory. So it's different in that way. there's a lot going on in this episode. It's really getting to be a really complicated story, and there's lots of people that you now know, and you're hoping they're going to succeed.
Okay.
But a lot of them are right in the dark and don't have any idea what's going on.
But you're enjoying this series so far.
Yes,
You're
I've
sticking
been
with
watching it. I've been enjoying it. There's not really that much fun in it. But there's no fun in getting beaten up and
2 more
tied
episodes
to the wall either, right? Or being taken or pulled around by a succubus. But anyway, yeah, it's still lacking the jovial stuff, but there's a lot going on and it's really interesting.
Okay, cool. So we got 2 more episodes coming up. If you like Christine's review or just generally talking about this Wheel of Time series, feel free to give us a thumbs up down below there. We appreciate that. Go ahead and leave us your comments. We're getting a lot of comments lately from people talking about your Wheel of Time review. So good job on that.
Books. I'm going to read the books when I finish my Stephen King reading.
How many books are there?
I don't know. I haven't even got there yet.
Let us know. How many books are there and in what order do you need to read them so that Christine doesn't...
So there's probably a few. There's at least 3
hours. Let us know. But thank you to everyone who's been leaving us comments on that stuff. We're going to address some of those later on in this episode. Now moving on to our next review, Christine's going to talk about Only Murders in the Building, Season 3. I dropped off from this show after Season 2. I'm like, this is just not working for me. But go ahead, spoiler review for Season 3. What's out right now? I think it's 8 episodes so far.
Well, so far, in this series, they've been all working together to do their podcast and being a pretty cohesive unit. But in this season... they split off and they're having issues.
Oh, they're fighting with each other.
They fight with each other.
Who caused
they have different priorities. Well, the problem is that they're putting on this play, okay? And
Martin Short's the director.
Charles is in the play, and so he's really focused on the play, and Charles is there, and she's the only one that's working on the case. And she gets upset, and she gets substitutes for them, essentially. She has this Tolbert fella.
Selena Gomez, you're talking about.
Yeah, she gets this Tolbert fella, and she gets the son of the guy from upstairs. She's working with them for a little bit, but they're not as good as working with their buddies.
Meryl Streep and Paul Rudd come into this story? That's what everyone wants to know.
Oh, okay, spoilers. Well, Paul Rudd is the victim.
Oh, they kill him?
Oh, yeah, they killed him off a long time ago.
Oh, they killed Paul Rudd, those bastards.
He's in it quite a bit, though. Because, they think he's dead, and then he doesn't actually die at first, and then he dies later. In the building. He ends up dying in the building in the end. First, we think he's dead on the stage, and we're like, this isn't a murder in the building. But he doesn't. He ends up dying in the building, in the elevator.
So it takes a lot to kill Paul Rudd, then.
Yeah, he falls.
As it should.
On top of them, almost, from the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. And Meryl Streep is in the play. But we find out now in this last episode exactly why she's in the play. It's because she gave up a baby for adoption, and it's Paul Rudd's brother, Dickie. And that's why she's in the play.
Do you think she killed Paul Rudd?
No. But everyone thinks Dickie did it, so in the end, she confesses and said she did it.
But she didn't do it.
No, she didn't do it. But who did? We don't know.
Yeah, there's still a couple episodes left.
Yeah, it's still a mystery as to who did it.
Is Meryl Streep's character, tell me about her character in this. Is she a real diva?
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, she's more like a beatnik or something. She's a kid that went off to New York, and she's been working in doing little plays her whole life, and now this is her first Broadway. She's good, but she's a bit absent-minded. Anyway, and Martin Short's character falls in love with her. But now
fair enough.
The play is actually coming along really well, and then the cops come, and then she confesses and says she did it because they were going to arrest Dickie, and they interrupt the whole play because they're interviewing everybody, and because they thought they had caught the guy, and then basically the podcast reveals that it wasn't him.
Isn't that what this podcast does every season? They reveal that the NYPD is kind of incompetent.
Yes, and that cop is back. She's back. She basically raised a theater, and they all have to. They're trying to do their like their final kind of rehearsal with the orchestra, and she interrupts it messes it all up on them.
Is this season funny?
Yeah, it's funny.
Because I didn't find the last season very funny.
That funny. Charles is going. They're all going through stuff. He breaks up with his girlfriend who's obsessed with her 69 fish.
Charles is Steve Martin.
Yeah, and he has to sing this song, I can't even say it. This song. It's about the play is about a lighthouse and a murder in Nova Scotia, apparently. Anyway.
Guess that's what people in New York City want to see.
Well, the Pickwick triplets. Anyway, okay. He has to say, and so they're going through a lot of things, and Mabel gets kicked out of the apartment because it was her aunt's, and she can't.
Yeah, and she has no money.
No, she has no money, so now she's just like squatting with people.
Why doesn't she just get a job?
She's trying to do her podcast, and they don't even realize she's moved out. They go down to her apartment, and there's some other woman in there. Because that's how disconnected they've been from her. But in the end of this episode, they all get together, and they're going to work on it again, and they're the three amigos again.
This building that this is set in, it's a pretty posh, upscale building.
Like, you
gotta have a lot of money.
Streep doesn't live in this building.
I mean, you gotta have a lot of money anyway to live in Manhattan, but to live in that building, that seems pretty upscale.
Paul Rudd was upstairs in the penthouse. He was up there, and his brother, I don't think his brother lived there, but that's who lived in the penthouse for this season. Was
Paul Rudd playing himself?
No, but he was playing an actor.
Okay. What happened to Amy Schumer?
They move out. See, this is the thing. That's what happened to Sting in the first one. People move out of the building. Okay. But Meryl Streep doesn't live in the building because she can't afford it.
Me too. Well, I'm sure
Meryl
Streep
neither does Mabel.
Okay. Yeah, apparently she's just a bum now.
Well,
she's couch surfing.
She's kind of always been, right?
Yeah. Well, now she's officially homeless and couch surfing.
But she has opportunity because Tina Fey wanted to work with her on her, that. Anyway, we see her a little bit, but she's doing it on her own.
Didn't we just see Tina Fey in Haunting in Venice?
We did.
Okay.
She's only in this for a little bit, though.
How's this season stack up so far compared to the other two seasons?
I like it. I don't
better or worse?
I see it just as good. I do miss Nathan Lane in it, though.
Yeah.
I don't. He's not in it.
Okay. Well, you're going to review the last two episodes as they come out?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so stay tuned for our next episode. Christine will review episode 9 and then the season 3 finale.
Because we won't know who did it.
A couple weeks from now.
I'm sure until the very end. We will not know who did it. Because at this point, we have no idea. It could be many people.
Wasn't really much of a suspense or mystery in the first two seasons. When they reveal, I'm like, oh, it's that guy. I'm like, who? Who cares?
This one, we really don't know. There's a lot of people. There's even a guy that lives in the theater, like, he's homeless. He's like an old director, and he lives up with the rats and stuff.
So he's the Phantom of the Opera. There you go.
He's cooking them operas. He's gone insane up there.
There's half his face burned off by acid, and he wears a half mask.
But he was all excited when a rat went by, so I think he could cook it up. Anyway.
Sure. Okay, so that's Christine's thoughts on season 3 of Only Murders in the Building. I haven't watched anything of this season because I tapped out after season 2. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below for this season. Are you enjoying it? Maybe you tapped out like me. I don't know, maybe you're huge Selena Gomez or Steve Martin or Martin Short fans. What do you think about that controversy lately with Martin Short? Let us know down in the comments below. And Fluffy Kitty would really love it if you would leave us a like, too. We got a new Star Wars Ahsoka episode, number 6. It's called Far, Far Away. This is a spoiler review for episode 6. I enjoyed this episode. It moved the story along really well. It starts off with Ahsoka and Hu Yang having like a 5-minute chat in their starship as they're riding on the Star Whale.
She's not in it very much.
The Purrgil. No, it's just to show that, hey, these characters are still here. And then this is a Sabine episode.
Yeah.
This is definitely a Sabine episode. I mean, there was a little bit of fat that I could have trimmed out from this. But overall, it moved the story along. Ahsoka and Hu Yang are going after them. But Sabine and what's her name there? Morgan Elsbeth there with Balin and Shin. They all get to where they're going there. They end up on this world called Peridia.
Your origin of the witches.
Yeah, which is the ancient homeworld of the Night Sisters, and then we meet 3 Night Sister witches there.
Yeah.
And they're doing their dark force magic.
So they're not all gone.
No.
The ones on Dathomir are gone, I guess.
Yeah, they were killed. Now, we finally get to see Thrawn.
Yeah.
That took me a minute to get used to seeing Lars Mikkelsen in costume as Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
But I'm digging it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I found it hard to hear what he was saying. I wanted to put it on closed captioning. Then I know you get mad. Because you don't like it.
Bother me.
I did find it hard to hear what he was saying. He speaks so quietly.
Yeah, he has a soft monotone voice. That's part of his character.
Anyway.
He's got the voice because he does the voice.
I didn't really get why they were paying so much attention to Sabine. I mean, spoiler, Ezra Bridger is only like 10 minutes away from this main area. Which also didn't make sense.
Well, she traveled a bit to get there. She got on this great steed that was like a horse, wolf, crocodile.
Like a big wolf, yeah.
Yeah, but it had a crocodile mouth and
flat
snout.
Face.
And it turned out to be a real coward.
It was a dog, essentially. Yeah. A domesticated, big, wolf-looking dog.
The scene with her yelling at it, and it's just kind of whimpering along. Yeah, that was nice.
She didn't have to, go very far to find him. She walked most of the way. You know? I don't know. I didn't get that and why they want to find him. They could have found him really easily because he's not very far away.
We don't know. That could have been a couple of days, okay?
Well, it didn't seem
She did run into some bandits there, and there was a little bit of action there. So, for an episodic story, like in television, that makes sense. If this was a movie, you probably would have cut a lot of that out. What did make sense to me was Balin and Shin going after her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It didn't make sense why they put so much attention on her, what she was doing, and why they want to find him so badly.
Well, she wants to get Ezra back, and she meets these weird, nomadic creatures.
Turtle men.
Yeah, they're little turtle people. I don't know what the name of them is. But she's going to find Ezra Bridger, and she finds him.
Very easily, yeah. She found him. It wasn't too hard. But, why they care so much, I didn't get. And why, well, the main dudes are going to leave without them, it sounds like.
Yeah, so I understand why Sabine is going to find Ezra.
Yes, I get that part, right? But I don't know why they think it's important.
But Balin and Shin, to be stranded on this world... Okay, I get why the Padawan is following Balin, but Balin's seeking some greater power, which he alludes to. We do learn a little bit more about his character in the sense that he was part of the Jedi when Order 66 happened, and so somehow he escaped the temple. So a bunch of people escaped that temple. Not just him, but remember a third sister from Obi-Wan?
Not many, though.
Not many. Or maybe he wasn't in the temple. I don't know, but it sounds like he was.
I don't know if he was there. She wasn't in the temple, his student. He found her.
Yeah, later.
Otherwise, we know that. But, yeah, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be such a bad guy. He seems more like a Jedi in disguise. I don't know. I don't get what's going on. I guess we'll have to wait.
He believes he's right. And he believes that the Jedi Order was evil, so he's got something against Ahsoka, but Ahsoka left the Order...
Does he have something against? I don't know. He seems pretty decent for he's not really a Sith. Well, he's just a Jedi for hire, essentially.
Yeah, he's a mercenary. So why he'd want to be stranded on this world out in the middle of nowhere in some faraway galaxy makes no sense. Except he's searching for this power.
He's idealistic.
That's there. Now, the fact that Thrawn, had his uniform is as good a condition as he can have it after 10 years. Sure, he has more than one, but it was still ripped up a bit.
Did you like the soldiers? Those are all clones, are they not?
No, those would be stormtroopers, but the fact that their armor was all degraded.
I would like that with the red ribbons, from the Night Sisters.
Well, it's all it's all kind of jury rigged and just kind of they're just trying to make do with it as best they can. They can't be in pristine order because they've been stuck out in the middle of nowhere for so long.
That?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And the ship was kind of
I thought the ship was
scavenged and ravaged a lot too. They had missing pieces of it. So all that looked good. What do you think their cargo is that they're loading?
I thought it was them. They're going to gather more forces and invade.
I think the cargo that they're loading from this world where the Night Sisters are, I think it's the dead Night Sister corpses, because if you remember
dead bodies there.
If you remember in Clone Wars on Dathomir, the Night Sister dead were all hanging, and then they all came back to life and were reanimated, and then they were destroyed too. I think it's more of those Night Sister corpses that they keep and preserve.
I don't know. They definitely have some people in stasis pods or something.
So I hope that they're bringing back the Night Sisters who are all wiped out on Dathomir. So I hope they're bringing them back and they make a resurgence as another force-wielding villains. That would be cool to see.
Their caskets is what looks like they're loading. But then again, there's a lot of men. They have to move everything over so they can live in this circle-y thing. Whatever it's called. The hyperspace traveling module.
Well, clearly the Eye of Sion, that's what that ship is called. They did name it at the beginning. So the Eye of Sion, it's built so that it's going to connect to the Star Destroyer, and then they're going to go back to another galaxy far, far away, the Star Wars galaxy, and
gather people up.
Gather up the remnants of the Empire, and Thrawn's going to do something.
It's a very big ship, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I didn't get the whole part about Ezra Bridger and why he was so close by and why anybody really cared. But anyway, I guess we'll have to see.
He's been stuck there for like 10 years. He's just hanging out.
Yeah, I know, but why these other people care and why they cared to make such a big scene of Sabine and talking to her so much. I didn't get that part, but I guess we'll have to see.
It's the Sabine episode, so overall this was a better episode. I enjoyed it. I've been rewatching a lot of Rebels. I'm in the middle of season 3 right now.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
Which does feature Ahsoka, and in that series and other series, she does do the arm cross, which has become her stereotypical move in this episode, but not as much. It's not as pronounced as it's been in this series. Yeah. So
we didn't see much of her in this one at all. Anyway,
nope.
It's moving the story forward.
Yep, I enjoyed it. We're still not really getting good lightsaber fights or anything, but anyway, I'm still on board. So waiting to see what happens next. You have any final thoughts on this episode?
No, I just hope more is explained in the future.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Well, we only got 2 more episodes to go.
Mm.
Right? And then maybe there'll be another season. Maybe it'll lead into another series. Who knows? Yeah, I enjoyed it. So let us know your thoughts for the new Star Wars Ahsoka episode down in the comments below. You can always give us a like or a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that there. Maybe one of our kiddies will come back for it. Now, just briefly, I just want to mention that Monday, we got a new episode of Futurama, and I did not record a spoiler reaction to it. Didn't bother to review it. And the episode was called The Prince and the Product. I didn't care for this episode.
I didn't like
it wasn't funny.
It wasn't. It was irritating.
Well, like, you can have all that crazy wackiness, but if it's funny, if you're laughing the whole time, who cares? But there was no jokes in it.
The story itself that it was based on was so random and weird and forced.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with
our review. We're reviewing it now, I suppose.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's all I want to say is it wasn't for me. So we'll do another one next episode. But if you let us know what you thought about Futurama Season 11, Episode 9, The Prince and the Product.
One thing I liked was it had Weebles in it. And I had Weebles as a kid, and I still have a couple of them. And I really enjoy Weebles. But most people probably don't even know what they are. I had the tree house and everything.
That's definitely a reference for older Gen Xers and maybe boomers who would probably not really be watching the show. Mostly this show is for millennials. But yeah. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on this new episode of Futurama down in the comments below, please. Now it's time for more Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. We're finally into Season 3. We've got the first 2 seasons down. Yeah. Only 5 more seasons of this show to go. I'll tell you what, I've never had so much fun watching a bad show.
I don't necessarily it frustrates me.
Okay,
It frustrates
so
me.
Basics Part 2. Here we go. The crew has been marooned on Mustafar / California Scrubland planet.
Yes.
It's a combination. And unfortunately, they got Neelix there with them. And they got Kess there as well.
She has very non-viscous lava.
Who aren't doing anything there. You know what? The visual effects in this for 1996 and for television are decent, okay? I'm not saying they're great, but for the time and because it's television, you know what? It's Star Trek. They tend to spend a lot of money on Star Trek shows, so I think they did a pretty good job. So the whole point of this is they got to get Voyager back because Maj Kula from the Kazons with Seska and her baby, they got Voyager, but don't worry. The Doctor, he's on it. He's launching his guerrilla campaign from sickbay because he can't go anywhere. How come they haven't figured that out in this show
but
yet?
But he has a psychopath with him, so that's all you need.
Yeah, but the psychopath now has feelings about it. I think they took the wrong approach with this episode. This could have been a great episode. It could have just been Lon Suitor going around just murdering people one at a time.
No, I like that part of it. I thought that was the best part of it. The things I did not like about it were I'm just sick of these Kazons and Seska, to tell you the truth. I find they're like the B team, right? They really don't know. Sometimes they give them way more credit than they should have.
Mm-hmm.
I find like their knowledge base is sometimes really low and then sometimes really high. It's inconsistent.
Well, the writers of I don't know who wrote this, but the writers of the show, I'm guessing, they wanted to have like a main villain for Voyager, so they made it the Kazon.
I don't think it was a very good. I love the look of the Kazon and everything, but I think that it's just inconsistent. Anyway,
Seska and her baby. Okay, so we learned that she's still lying, and Chakotay's not the baby daddy.
Yeah, so they have all this technology of spaceships in space, and they can't get water for some reason, and they can't do basic DNA tests to tell who the father is, who the baby daddy is. That's just weird. Like that, they're very inconsistent with these Kazons, right?
Yeah, all their technology is stolen from the Trabe, who we met earlier in season 2. Which
what they're capable of, they should. I don't know. It's just all over the place, I find. And the other thing I really didn't like about this episode was that, listen, if you're in the military, you're doing survival. Okay, that's just the basic thing that you learn in the military. And all of a sudden, they're saying that these Starfleet people were never trained in survival. Like that's just crazy. So they're all just a bunch of dorks running around some caves and things are doing. Let's pick up somebody's grandmother's bones and wave them about. Let's just make the natives like so angry.
Well, those bones that were there, so they lost their one reoccurring character, Happy Hogan there.
Everybody knows you don't touch you don't touch anybody's bones.
But the bones were there because that was the snake's... That was that alien snake just leaving them there.
It was a warning put there by the native people to stay away from that cave.
There was way too much focusing on the crew stuck on this planet with nothing. And
they're really dumb. They couldn't start fires or anything. And
they did. It just took them a little bit.
When you're in a desert with so much dry timber, like it's not an issue to start a fire in the desert. It's an issue to start a fire in a rainforest. Anyway, I just thought it was like really dumb and they were acting really dumb. And then they basically shot first. They like shot the native people. Like they're always doing these really bad things to the people in this quadrant.
The natives attacked them first. They stole Neelix and Kess, which really just keep them.
I mean, but they were pleasant enough to give them back, and then they went and mortally wounded that guy. They like shot him.
No, they didn't give him back. They're just like, we're taking him, and then they just start running off.
Instead of running away, they actually shot the guy and hurt one of them.
He had it coming.
No, it's just, ugh. Anyway, it just bothered me. And then at the very end, okay?
Oh, jeez, dear.
They don't even see what happened to these people that they've been spending this time with on the planet. Like, Chakotay risks his life to save one of them, and then we don't even know what happened to them.
They just left him on Mustafar, Prime Directive.
I find with this show, it's leaving things, like, totally open-ended.
Yeah.
In a lot of the episodes.
And that bothers you?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? No one else is going to the Delta Quadrant to check out these places.
I just find there's a lot of loopholes in this show.
Okay. The good things about it is the Doctor's really sassy towards Seska.
Yes, he
okay.
was.
We get Seska back with her love child.
I can't stand her character.
Like, what happened to her at the end there? She just falls over
and
dead?
And the baby is fine. Like, all of them are dead except for, like, Glashkala. And the baby's fine. It's just mad. It
was napping in the captain's ready room.
Basically electrocuted.
I don't see what... There was no need to kill off Seska, one of your most interesting characters in this show. Maj Kula gets away with the baby, so that's going to come back. There's going to be another appearance later on in future seasons of Seska, but it'll just be like a...
No, I don't think
vision.
So.
It'll probably be one of Chakotay's vision
Maybe,
quests. We'll see her. No, she does come back.
Recollection is, like, this... We kind of don't see the Kazon much after this. But maybe I'm wrong.
This episode had a lot of potential, and kind of just didn't live up to hype for me. Okay? But, I mean, Tom Paris is to the rescue. Lon Suter is playing Last Action Hero. He busts into the engineering.
That part good.
And he's like, I'm at the warp core now. And then he gets shot.
Yeah.
And he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so Brad Dourif's not coming back.
Two interesting characters.
Yep.
Come on, Penny.
I'll leave her be. Anything else of this that you liked? Samantha Wildman is in it again.
They tried to do a giant... This was a big, like, departure from the normal episodes. This was a big deal.
Yeah, this would have cost more money. And that's why it was a two-parter done over... at the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3, because they had to put in effects and everything.
Yeah.
Because television schedules are really strict and they're tough to keep up with, especially back in the 90s. It's easier now, but it's still grueling. I did enjoy how they had like this big 2-part thing, and they're taking this lesson from TNG, where they're like, we'll end the season on a cliffhanger. You gotta wait till the next season, which... So the first part would aired on May 20th, 1996. Then you gotta wait till September 4th, 1996 to get the second part. That's how they kept you in suspense back in the day.
That's just when I graduated.
Remember back on TNG when they're like, oh, Lorne's come around and he's got some evil plan, and then it's like cliffhanger. You gotta wait till the next season?
Right.
That is months.
Yes, it's a long time. May 1996 is when I graduated.
Yeah, it's not as bad anymore, but sometimes it's worse if they ended on a cliffhanger. Getting through it.
Yeah, I just find it if it needed just a little bit more effort, and it could have been much better.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, well, it was decent. Oh well, guess that's all we can say for this episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Now it's time for our next segment of Tarantino Unchained.
The Tarantino is 10.
Here we go. Part 7. We watched Inglorious Basterds from 2009, which I own on DVD, and I kept it, so watch my great DVD copy of this. You had never seen this movie before.
No.
I have seen it multiple times because I own it. So this is going to be a spoiler discussion, obviously. Going over to Rotten Tomatoes, we got... Let's see what we got. It's an R-rated war comedy. It definitely has some comedy in it. It is rated at 89% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes critic score with an 88% audience score. So first viewing, what did you think of this?
Wasn't really for me.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It wasn't really for me.
You're not really into war movies.
No. I had some issues with the storyline. Spoilers.
Oh yeah, we already said that, but...
I didn't get why they would suicide bomb the place. They didn't need to.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me, but...
No, that didn't
What
make any
did you
sense.
like about this movie? Any of the characters that you liked?
I liked the concept of it. I liked, for anybody that well, there's not many people that anybody that survived the Holocaust and has any family or anybody, like, I think it's good to see. Like, it makes you get some vengeance back in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You could see if you could be one of those characters to, you know, if you're a vengeful person, I could see them get their comeuppance is always good, right? Which he has that theme in a lot of his movies. That guy's getting their comeuppance.
Yeah. Also, hyper violent, because that's Tarantino's movie world there.
I don't
all
think
his movies
this
are
one
hyper
was
violent.
as violent.
Are you kidding me?
It wasn't as violent in the way that it wasn't as, I don't know, it was way more, I don't know, more stylistic,
They're
I suppose.
beating Nazis to death.
Yeah, but it wasn't as gory as some other ones.
What about the carving the swastikas there in the foreheads?
I liked that part, but I felt it gave the Nazis a bit too much humanity as well, which I didn't like. I didn't like that part of it.
How so?
Well, at the end when she goes over to this movie star, because he's like, she thinks he has some more humanity because he regrets killing all those people in the tower, and that's how she gets herself killed. She goes over to him.
Ah, yes.
I didn't
Yeah, you're talking about Daniel Bruhl's character.
Yeah, I felt it gave them a bit too much humanity, and when the general that they're, or whoever he is, the commanding officer that they're questioning their and then he gets the baseball bat. I thought he was too admirable as well. I don't know. I just didn't care for it.
Okay,
I
so
didn't like it.
when Eli Roth comes out from the train tunnel, I'm guessing it is, or bunker tunnel, so he's the Bear Jew. Now, originally, I think the plan was they weren't going to cast Eli Roth, who we just saw in Death Proof in a small role there. He was one of the drunk idiots at the bar.
Oh, okay.
That was talking trash. So he comes back this as Bear Jew, but originally it was supposed to be Adam Sandler. And so if you had Adam Sandler walk out of there carrying the bat, and he's like that would have been a way bigger pop. I don't know why that didn't happen, but that would have been cool to see.
I didn't care for
Not that Eli Roth did a bad job. He did a great job.
No, but I didn't care for that scene
where they're beating that sergeant.
I didn't like that at all, and I don't know. I love, of course, Christoph Waltz was great in it.
Yeah. This movie is too long.
I think it should have been more based upon him.
It's 2 hours, 32 minutes. Now, the opening, so it's into 5 chapters, right? So the first chapter is when Christoph Waltz's character, who's an SS detective, goes and visits this French family who's harboring Jews in their basement.
I did like that part.
That went on way too long.
But I like that
part
of it.
And I get it. It's tension, it's suspense, and you don't know what's going to happen. However, I think you could have easily cut out half an hour, if not like 45 minutes of this movie, with just how long shots get drawn out.
Dropped off halfway through. I don't know. It didn't make sense. Where were all the other guys as part of this group? And why were they going to kill themselves when they didn't need to? And the actress was going to kill herself too. They weren't in the mindset for dying also.
The actress wasn't going to kill herself.
They were all going to get blown up.
They were all going in there to plant the bombs. I don't think the plan was that they were going to kill themselves.
Well, they did, though, and they didn't have any problem with that.
That didn't make any sense. Maybe that was just some bloodlust.
They could have gotten out.
Okay.
Those guys.
So the opening scene, there's a lot of suspense and tension, but they could have cut that down. The stuff with Brad Pitt and the Inglorious Basterds and Hugo... What's his name? Hugo Stulitz or something like that? I can't remember. Hugo Stiglitz. Hugo Stiglitz. All that was hilarious. The guy killing the Nazis.
I didn't find it that funny, see? And once I heard like the joke of Brad Pitt's character was the only thing I found funny in this whole movie. Yeah. But it gets old. I mean, there's nothing new. And I just didn't care for it. It wasn't.
Okay, so you didn't care for the humor.
It didn't have that shine that it should have had. Oh. Christoph Waltz had, his character was fantastic, but he didn't get his comeuppance.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
He got a swastika carved in his forehead.
Plastic surgery. No, I didn't feel. I don't know. I think it was really suspenseful in the first part of it, and then it just dropped off. And I didn't we didn't know enough about the Bastards.
This was the
found.
first time. Okay, here's my thoughts on it. I had a great time with this. I might even enjoy this Tarantino film more than Pulp Fiction. Now, it's Second World War, so it's a war film. Okay, so I like that. It's got a lot of comedy in it too. I mean, it's also really brutal, which is why it's rated R. But I enjoyed the brutality. I enjoyed how funny it is. I found this hilarious.
I did
And
not.
that's why I think it was so funny. Brad Pitt's character as Aldo the Apache. So funny.
That's the only thing
And
I found funny, but it gets old.
He's
It's the only
doing-
funny thing.
He's doing all these things that he's not really supposed to do them, but he's just gonna get, he's like, I'm not gonna get shot. More like shoot out. That's okay. I've been shoot out before.
Yes,
Which is
carte
what I
blanche.
say at work all the time too. I'll get yelled at, no big deal. Christoph Waltz was a really interesting character. You didn't see the deal that he made. Like, there was no precursor for that. Just kind of comes out of nowhere. He's like, let's make a deal. And then he's acting all
Yeah.
weird, saying bingo. And he's all having fun with it there. Fassbender, who's stereotypically British in this.
Kind of a waste of his whole character.
No, he did a good job of that. I mean, you could say the same thing, like, why did Mike Myers need to be in this? It's
like
a very small role.
Unnecessary, that whole scene. I don't know. Wasn't.
The stuff in the theater at the end was pretty hilarious. This is the first time I really took notice of Daniel Bruhl. Maybe this is how he broke out in North American markets, because I know he's acting over there in Europe there. Maybe in German films, European films. But this was a fun take on Second World War. So this is how Second World War ended in Tarantino's universe. And it's fun and ridiculous and really violent, and it makes Hitler and his cronies look completely stupid, okay? Which is great. They look, that rant, him yelling, and,
It's this whole thing
it's
like
so
that
good.
Starfleet trap. Don't put everybody in one room when everybody knows they're going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Don't put all your heads of everything in the same place because the Romulans are coming.
So look, it says strong graphic violence. This is not going to be for everyone. Most people don't like war films, and they don't like some stuff with brutal violence in it. But I found this hilarious. If you're into Second World War films, or if, say, you're into Deadpool, because this has a lot of hyper violence like that, this might be for you. This might be my favorite Tarantino movie. That and Pulp Fiction are up there. I gotta think about it. What kind of rating would you give this?
I don't know. For me, there wasn't enough character development. We only really have 3 characters that got developed, and that was what I really didn't like about it. Because his other films have a lot of great character development.
What
and
were
this
the
one
3?
did not. Christoph Waltz,
Yep.
Shosanna,
Yep.
and what's his face? The guy that shot everyone in the tower. Those are really.
Oh, Daniel Bruhl's character.
our
Yeah, but
character
he's killed
development.
at the end.
Yeah, but the Bastards, we don't know enough about them. We don't get enough character development about them.
As
I
I'm
don't
watching
feel.
this, I'm sitting there. Why don't they do more films like this about, guerrilla tactics against the Nazis in the Second World War, or against, Stalin?
Oh,
or
CBC had a fantastic show
this-
about that.
This was
should
great.
watch.
I want to see more of this, and I like it with the comedy. I don't just want brutal violence. I had a
Right.
great time with this. What range you say you gave this?
I didn't give it a rating yet. I don't know. I'll give it a 72.
This was one of your worst
Wasn't-
Tarantino films
I
there.
was just thinking, didn't have that that spark that some of his other stuff had.
Okay. It was better than Death Proof for you.
I hated Death Proof.
Yeah,
wanna
I didn't
finish
care for that.
watching it.
For this one, this is going to be near the top of my list. I'm going to give this a best movie ever because I really enjoyed this. And if you haven't seen Inglorious Basterds, I mean, oh yeah, Diane Kruger, she's great in this. Okay, I mean, because she's got her accents down, she speaks all these languages.
Right.
She was really good in this. The basement thing, that was funny. He's just like, fighting in a basement is terrible for several reasons. Number one, you're fighting in a basement.
There's no exit. Yeah, it wasn't very good. X Company, that's the show
Okay.
I'm talking about. If you want a good show about fighting the war and being like and doing these operations X company.
There's an actor in it. His name's Jackie Ido, who plays Marcel. He's a French projectionist, and every time he was on screen, he's speaking French because he only speaks French in this.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm thinking, if Chris Tucker were in this, he'd be smacking the crap out of this guy. He'd like, stop speaking French. Have some self-respect for yourself.
He's a
because
French-born
in
person.
in one of those Rush Hour movies, I can't remember which one because I didn't like any of them. He was smacking around some Asian guy who was speaking French. And he's like, you're Asian. Stop speaking French. Have some self-respect for yourself. If Chris Tucker was in this, he'd be doing this to this guy.
He was a French guy. That was the whole point. They were the resistance in their own way. They weren't joined to any kind of resistance body. But anyway, that show X Company is about the resistance. I totally recommend that. I didn't like this film really at all.
Yeah, it's not going to be for everyone. I had a really great time, but Christine didn't enjoy it. Let us know your thoughts on Quentin Tarantino's Inglorious Basterds. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Have you not seen it? If you haven't, I recommend checking it out if you're a fan of Tarantino. This is one of his best there, and that's why I give it a best movie ever. Feel free to leave us a like or a thumbs up. That always makes Fluffy Kitty really happy. If you have any comments, leave them down below for us, please. And that was part 7 of Tarantino Unchained.
The Tarantino 10.
Now it's time for part 4 of The Power of Family, starring Dominic Toretto again. So at the end of the last one, we got the return of Dominic Toretto.
Okay.
Excellent. So this one, it's not focusing on a different crew. This one's all about Dominic Toretto.
Yeah.
And Brian, Paul Walker's character.
Okay.
We get his Dom's little sister in it. Mia is back.
Okay.
Jordana,
from the first one.
Yeah, from the first one. Jordana Brewster. We also get Michelle Rodriguez back.
Okay.
Okay, from the first one, she's Letty. If you forgot about her, it's because she was in the first one. She does some cool stuff, but then she hasn't been back for the next 2 movies.
Most of these people haven't been in the next 2.
Yeah, well, Paul Walker was in 1 and 2. 2 is his movie.
Okay.
And then 3 is all about Han and Lucas Black's character, Sean? Yeah, in Tokyo there, right?
Han and Sean.
So this one starts off, it's all Dom and Letty and his crew, and Han's there.
Han, Sean, and Don.
Han is there, who you remember died in Tokyo Drift. He blew up in his car.
And he's there?
Yeah. So it starts off, and I'm not going to just go through the story beats, but it starts off with this big, huge car scene, of course. It's like 7.5 minutes long. But I don't know where it is. It's either in Mexico. They do mention Rio, so it might be. But right away, they start off and they let you know this is not a real world, because none of these movies are based in the real world.
They have that big statue on the top of the hill. That's Rio.
Yeah, they're in a rural area.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but they're going after a tanker truck. So it's one tractor and it's hauling 4 tankers full of gasoline. So immediately you know this isn't real. Because there's no way this one truck would be taking these 4 tankers up mountains, right?
No, we see those on the car
ridiculous.
bloopers videos.
So Dom and his crew are hijacking this truck and taking the tankers. Okay?
They can't afford gas anymore. Those cars are expensive to run.
Okay. Well, they got to make money somehow, right?
I know my cousin had a Corvette and it was so expensive.
He's there with his whole crew, and Han's there, okay, to help with this caper, and Letty's there, and she's a big part of it, okay? Michelle Rodriguez. She gets on the hood of the car, and she's got nitrous. What is it?
Nitrous?
No, not nitrous. It's got liquid nitrogen. She's got tanks of liquid nitrogen strapped to her back. Because she jumps onto these tankers and then she's spraying it to freeze the mechanisms to get the tanks to release, and then they haul it off with their trucks from the other side.
Oh, and it's moving?
Yeah, it's all like a moving heist. Okay?
Okay.
And it becomes this big thing. Anyway, fun times. They steal some stuff. What happens to the driver? Who cares, right? The truck driver. Doesn't matter. And then they have a talk afterwards, and Han's like, I hear they're doing some good stuff in Tokyo. I'm going to Tokyo. So this is a prequel thing there, right?
Oh, okay.
Now,
it's a prequel.
If you remember Fast and Furious 2, okay, Electric Boogaloo, that was Paul Walker's movie about Brian,
Yeah.
and he was fired from the cops, and then him and Tyrese had to work for customs.
Yes.
And then they went off and they were going to start the Bromance car shop in Florida, in Miami,
Yes,
right?
they went to Florida.
So at the beginning of this movie, you know what he's doing? He's working for the FBI. And I'm like, why would they hire this guy?
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't make any sense. And he doesn't even look like an FBI agent. He looks like they took a surfer guy, like Paul Walker,
Right.
blonde hair, looks like he spent all day on the beach with a tan, and then they put him in a suit. Now he's an FBI agent.
Why not?
I didn't really get that, so. But anyway, I had a fun time watching Fast and Furious 4 on Stranger Tides. It currently has, doesn't have good ratings. It has a 29% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 67% audience
even
score.
The fans of this that went to see it did not like it.
Well, no, the fans. So about 2/3 of the fans.
67%.
2/3 of the
that
fans
like
saw
these
it.
movies
Okay.
didn't like it. It doesn't look good. I don't want to watch these ones because this is a waste of my time.
A lot of stuff happens at the beginning really fast, okay?
Yeah.
It's like Letty leaves Dom. No, he leaves her. He walks out on her in the middle of the night, whatever. And then later on, he's just working down in South America somewhere. And what happens is he has to go back to L.A. Dominic Toretto does.
Not Florida.
Okay?
LA.
Even though he's an international criminal, right?
How does he get in?
Because Mia... Exactly, right? They don't say. Okay? Mia, his sister calls him, and he's like, I told you never to call me here. There's been a murder.
Oh.
Who's been murdered?
Dun dun dun.
Letty has been murdered.
Isn't she the sister? Which one is Letty?
That's Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh.
That's the love of his life, but you
I
don't
thought
really
he
know
was
that
her,
at this
she
time.
was his sister. I didn't know they were involved.
No, Mia's his little sister.
Oh, okay.
That's Jordana Brewster. That's who Paul Walker was hitting
don't
on.
seem very matched as people. I just thought she was his sister.
Okay.
Okay.
So they have so he has to go back to see the funeral, but of course the FBI is watching it. So this whole thing is they got to get Dominic Toretto.
Well, yeah, it's a trap.
Yeah, exactly, right?
What? Just call the funeral director, ask to see the body before the funeral, and then run away.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I mean, at one point, Paul Walker Brian tries to make up with Mia. Okay, tries to apologize.
Right.
Because he used her, like he was hitting on her. But then
Right.
it's like, no, I'm actually a cop, and I'm just trying to get in with you because I gotta take your brother out. But then he let him go, right? Which made no sense, and that's why he got fired.
So now he got hired by the FBI.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I told you this world makes no sense, right? From that, I mean, even the first one didn't make a lot of sense with these giant street races and street parties that they're having.
Yeah.
None of that made really any sense there, right? So it's this whole, they have to go on this mission, and it's for some evil guy who I've seen in a few other things. He's actually quite good. John Ortiz. He's in a lot of stuff there. Anyway, he's the bad guy that's getting them to do this. But also, who shows up in this franchise this one? One of your favorite actresses.
Who's that?
Wonder Woman shows up.
Oh,
Gal Gadot
great.
herself.
And this is before she was Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah, this is in 2009.
So she really has no acting lessons.
So if you thought she was bad in BVS in 2016
this
as
is her
Wonder Woman,
breakout role.
If you thought she was wooden and didn't have very good acting skills, she's amazing compared to this one in 2009.
Oh no.
Oh man, you would love watching this.
No.
Oh man. And she's working for the bad guy, but she keeps like throwing herself at Dominic Toretto.
Ugh. Why? He's like not in. She's above his league. I'm sorry, but.
Well, in this world, Dominic Toretto's way out of her league.
I don't think so.
Because he's still upset over the love of his life, Letty.
She's kind of like out of most men's leagues.
So the whole thing is, he's there to solve this murder. That's the whole thing. And he goes to the crime scene.
It's like Pierrot.
Yeah, he goes to the crime scene and he's detecting.
Does he grow a big mustache?
No. No, he doesn't have any facial
hair. That would have been
hair.
hilarious.
Okay? He goes to the crime scene and he's checking out the tracks and looking at the area,
Yes.
and then he can see the crime happening. So they show a flashback because Dominic Toretto is so good, he can see this happening. Jeez. Anyway, what ended up happening is one of the bad guys' henchmen killed, who's called Phoenix. He killed Letty. Okay?
Okay.
So the whole thing is that Dominic Toretto's got to get in with this bad guy at the same time that Brian is trying to get in with this bad guy because he's doing his FBI investigation. Yeah. Dominic Toretto just wants to get at this guy so that he can kill him. That's his whole point. So this bad guy, the guy Campos, okay, John Ortez, he's running, he's drug smuggling.
He'll just sit in the bushes in front of his house.
So what they do is they recruit all these drivers. How they recruit the drivers? Street race. Another great street race. It's this huge race, okay? So they do that. I'm not going to get into that, but they do this so that he can recruit the drivers. And what they do is they take them all to Mexico. So they all get into these really fancy cars and load it up into a big rig truck. And they have to sit in the trailer and it gets taken to Mexico.
You would die of like heat exhaustion.
Yeah, probably. Okay. And then once in Mexico, they load it up with these crates full of drugs. And then they drive across the border. And
there's no border agents in any of this. Obviously.
Border security has this like really amazing security. They got fences, they got infrared cameras and imaging, even on the Mexico side. I'm like, that doesn't seem very accurate to me. But what they do is they have to drive across the desert.
Have dogs.
And they have to go to a tunnel, this secret tunnel, which is essentially like a bat cave. Because as you drive to it, then the door opens at the last minute, and it's like driving into the bat cave. And let me tell you, this cave looks terrible.
Oh, okay.
It's all compositing, and it looks like something out of a video game from '96. Okay? It looks absolutely terrible, these like mine shaft tunnels they drive through. It's so bad. So then they drive across, and they go through these tunnels to get past border security.
Right.
That goes on for a couple miles. I don't know how they built these tunnels, because they have these big races through them. And then they get to the other side, and there you go, you got your drugs. But Dominic Toretto just wants to kill this guy. And I guess Paul Walker is just going to do his job as an FBI agent, but there's this hate relationship because they got history, right? Meanwhile, you don't see Han after the beginning, right?
Okay.
Because he's going to go die in Tokyo, apparently. Hold on a second. Brian is told to bring Dom and the drug. Oh yeah, so what happens is when they get through, they end up stealing this guy's drugs. Okay, in their car, in one of the cars.
Right.
They steal the drug cartel's drugs, and they want to trade it, something like that. I don't know. I don't know. They get into a big fight at one point, which is pretty good.
It sounds just terrible.
Brian ended up getting suspended from his job, so he gets fired again.
Whoever HR department there should be fired.
This guy's not good at being a cop, but he keeps getting hired to be a cop. I thought he was going to go start his garage with Tyrese in Miami.
Yeah, he should go down to
what
Miami.
happened to that? Oh, jeez.
Next, his car will be an Art Deco car.
Yeah.
Put some crown moldings on it.
So at the end, Brian gets suspended from work, but then he goes and meet up with Dom at his house again in LA, the same house where they were having all their house parties. Okay, they go to work on the car, and he talks to him, but instead he ditches Dom so he can go make out with Mia instead in the house, because obviously, right? So they're getting back together. Okay, Dom and Brian drive to Mexico and grab Braga.
How does it end?
That's what I'm telling you. This
to the end.
They have a big race to the border, and they're going through the Bat Cave again. And it's just like this big, huge, and there's this big street race. And
people do dig.
Yeah, but not like this.
Like Gopher tunnels.
This is like driving into Tim Burton's Bat Cave in 1989. Okay. That's what it looks like. And the CGI in is bad. So anyway, so they take out the bad guy, and they're having their bromance together, and Gal Gadot is off somewhere, and yeah. This wasn't exactly the best Fast and Furious movie, but I still had a fun time with it.
Okay, I think you're giving it a lot of credit.
It just keeps getting more and more wacky. So I give it a best movie ever. You really gotta check these out with me sometime. There's a lot of drama going on in this. Soap opera drama. You would like it. Okay, so that was part 4 of The Power of Family, starring Dominic Toretto. Now it's time for more Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway, your favorite segment. Season 3, episode 2 is called Flashback, and this is, I don't know if this is a great episode, but it has a really big guest star in it.
Who's in that?
Well, have you ever seen Star Trek 6?
Which was that, the whale one?
No, that's 4.
Oh.
You're the big
know.
Star Trek fan here,
I don't
and I'm
know
not.
the numbers.
Okay, so
Is that
Star Trek 6
Insurrection
is
or
the
something?
undiscovered country. No, that's 10.
Is this the one where both the teams join up?
No,
Oh,
that's
see, I don't know.
wrong show.
No, the Picard bunch and the old bunch.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
The Star Trek 6 is all the original crew.
Oh, okay.
That's their last movie that they did together, their last time out. So, in this episode, this unfortunately is a Tuvok episode. Okay? With Janeway kind of along as the sidekick. What happens is, starts out, Tuvok is hanging out with his best buddy. Who's his best buddy? Neelix. So he's hanging out with Neelix in the mess hall.
Together as one person, I suppose. They have a connection. That person is dead now.
Anyway, I think he still hates him. Okay? So that's just to get
They're all kumbaya on Voyager, man.
This opening scene is just to get Neelix in the episode. Okay? He doesn't feature in the rest of the episode.
That he has to be in each episode.
Well, they're the stars, right?
He's a good agent.
I guess. So what happens is Tuvok goes to the bridge and he starts shaking and getting all jittery. Okay, like he's having maybe a panic attack or something.
Seizure?
Or a seizure.
Vulcan.
Anyway, he has to. Everyone notices this, and he has to excuse himself so he can go to sickbay, get checked out.
Right.
He doesn't make it. Well, no, he barely makes it there, and then he passes out on the carpet. Why do they have carpet in sickbay?
Because it's special carpet now that can clean itself. In the future, we can have carpet again.
It's future carpet.
Yeah, I look forward to that because I don't like our carpet these days.
So they don't have to worry about blood spills or anything on it in sickbay
Maybe
here.
it just like goes on fire every night and grows a new one.
Anyway, so he passes. I noticed they passed out on the carpet. I'm like, why would they have carpet in there?
They have carpet on the walls and a lot of the sets and everything.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be a medical facility.
I know, but they have better carpet.
If you walked into the hospital and in the patient rooms they have carpet, you'd be like, what is this? It would be disgustingly dirty.
They did have some carpets in some places. In our mental hospital here, they did have carpets at
anyway,
one point.
this episode's not about carpet, okay?
There's a lot of dust there now because of that.
Tuvok is having these problems because on the bridge, Janeway decided, who was it that pointed out? I think it was probably Harry Kim. He pointed out, hey, Captain, there's a nebula over there. Set a course for the nebula.
Yes, they're nebula magnets.
No, they're going to get this cystine gas or something. I can't remember what it's called, but they have to go. They have to go get this gas because it can be used for so many different reasons on the ship, right?
I've heard of that gas before.
So they have to get this gas. So they head over to the nebula, and then as soon as they get there, that's when these problems start. And he's having these flashbacks to himself as a child, and there's a little white girl, and she's fallen off a cliff, and he's holding on to her, trying to save her, and she falls. Okay.
Well, he was only a kid. The two of them would have fallen.
Anyway, so we see Kid Tuvok in this.
Okay, is he cute?
He's a kid. Anyway, I'm not going to comment
on
that. But this episode is all tied to Star Trek 6. So the big guest star we see this episode is George Takei, Captain Sulu of the Excelsior. So a lot of this episode is on the Excelsior Bridge and other parts of Excelsior from Star Trek 6.
Oh, okay.
And they even bring back the other actors from that movie.
That's awesome.
Okay, that were on the bridge in that.
Right.
Because if you go back and watch that movie, and I noticed this a long time ago, I haven't watched that movie for a long time, but Tim Russ is in that movie.
Oh.
He's on the bridge there. So apparently...
As a Vulcan or as a...
No, as a Vulcan. So it's him.
Oh.
It's Tuvok. Was in Star Trek 6, apparently.
Well, they do live a long time.
At the age of 29, when he first got into Starfleet, he was in the old red uniforms with the black pants.
I didn't know that.
That Kirk used to have, the really cool ones from the 80s.
I didn't like any of those outfits.
I love those costumes. Those were the best ones.
They look uncomfortable.
That's not the point.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, Tuvok has to go back into his mind because repressed memories for Vulcans end up killing them for some reason.
Does he have to do his palm bar or whatever?
No, he mentions it, but no, he doesn't have to do that. That's that's like puberty for Vulcans. No,
going back in time and de-aging?
That has nothing to do with this. What happens is he has to go back into his memories because the doctor can't help him. Okay? Because he's got these repressed memories, and if it gets worse, he's going to lobotomize himself. Which, sure, it's, Star Trek science. So what happens is, he has to do a mind meld. He's supposed to do this ritual where he has to do a mind meld with the closest member of his family. He has no family there. Yeah. So who's the closest person to him?
Cass.
No, that's his meditation buddy.
Yeah, I know, but she can do mind melds. They've forgotten she has elf powers again.
No.
This season,
but it's the person that he is closest to, who knows him the best, and it's not Cass. Who is it? It's Janeway.
It should be Neelix because they shared one brain.
But they hate each other.
But I guess they didn't, because then they don't remember that, because then they were
killed. Hate each other, okay? Going all the way back to the cheese, because I think it was Tuvok who found the cheese. Okay?
The Neelix cheese.
Yeah, the Neelix cheese that tried to destroy the ship.
A few times.
What happens is, but instead of going back to this childhood repressed memory, he goes back to memories of him on Excelsior from 80 years ago. Which means this guy's 109 here in season 3 of Voyager.
They're like turtles. They live a long time.
He's looking pretty good for a 109-year-old there.
Supposed to be. I don't know how old Spock was supposed to be when he kicked the bucket, but he's really, really old. I don't think they lived to 200, but it's...
So we get to see George Takei back as Captain Sulu, and not only do they have to...
Nice.
They use a couple of scenes from that movie, and
cool.
He has to redo the lines, but they do a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's cool that he comes back, right?
That's nice.
And so it's Tuvok in his old school uniform, while Janeway is following him around as an invisible ghost that only he can see,
and she's
in her Star Trek uniform, until his mind starts breaking down, and then George Takei's like, "Who's this? Get off my bridge!"
Okay.
He starts yelling at Janeway.
He must have fun doing that.
So it was cool to see him back, and on the Excelsior bridge, and because it's such a very close continuity connection to that movie.
Yeah.
From this show.
I'm glad they used that.
And so they actually answered this fan question. I never knew this. That why was Tim Russ in Star Trek 6 when he's on Voyager?
Well,
they retconned it and made it the same character. I think.
Well,
it was a retcon.
They do supposed to live they're like turtles that live like 150 years old or something. That was always my idea.
Or you could say like parrots.
No, more like more than parrots.
So it was cool that I got to see that. However, since this was a Tuvok in his mind issue, I didn't really enjoy that this episode that much. I would say skip this one. And that two-parter that we had at the beginning and end of last season, that was disappointing too. So hopefully we'll get some more good episodes soon, right?
Yes.
So thanks for watching. Thank you to anyone who leaves us a like here. For Fluffy Kitty, let us know your comments on this episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Now I got a special treat for our viewers. We're going to return to our new mini game. Is this better than Secret Invasion? So in our first part of this, you said that two things were worse than Secret Invasion. And I'm going to get you to change your mind on this. You said that Captain America, the First Avenger,
sucked.
Was worse than Secret Invasion, and Marvel's The Eternals was also worse than Secret Invasion. Okay, well, according to an article that I found on what did I
According to
find
an
it on?
article.
The
Okay.
Direct.
Yes.
According
They don't agree with me?
No. According to an article that I found on the Direct, they gave me the runtime for Secret Invasion. Like in total.
Okay.
And if their website would ever load up, then I'd be able to go through it. But apparently
How many hours was it? 9 hours?
It was like 3 hours and something. Almost 4 hours.
Mm.
Okay? According to this article from the Direct, Secret Invasion clocked in at 3 hours, 43 minutes. And 30 seconds.
Don't forget the
So I think they probably took out all the credits.
Oh, okay.
Because then it would be longer. So that's a pretty long time to watch something that's really bad.
Well, it wasn't 8 or 10 episodes.
Well, according to my
How many
4K
episodes
disc...
was it? 6? 8? 10? I don't remember.
I don't even remember.
It was a few.
Total episode...
The 6 or more.
Doesn't say. And I don't really care. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's the runtime.
Sorry.
So, Captain America, the First Avenger, is 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Okay.
Would you rather watch Captain America the First Avenger at 2 hours 3 minutes or Secret Invasion at 3 hours and 43 minutes and suffer through that?
Secret Invasion, because at least we saw some characters that we liked.
So you're gonna maintain this is worse.
Yes.
Ouch.
I really didn't like that movie.
You're gonna make
Stopped watching
enemies
it
on the internet.
halfway through.
Okay. The Eternals clocked in at 2 hours 37 minutes. But is that better than 3 hours and 43 minutes of Secret Invasion or worse?
Listen, it needed someone like Nick Fury in there to like talk like a normal person, not be a stiff robot.
So this
These
is worse.
are worse.
Okay.
It's bad.
You're doubling down on it. Okay, I tried to get you to change your answer.
I just blocked it out of my mind. Actually.
That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is now we're going to play this game on our... Because we've been doing our segment of Into the DCEU.
Yes.
So now this is Secret Invasion versus the DCEU. So, is Secret Invasion better or worse than Man of Steel from 2013?
Better. That one's terrible. That's one of my least
This
favorite
is worse
movies of
than
all
Secret
time.
Invasion?
Least favorite movies of all time.
This is only 2 hours and 23 minutes.
The dad dies saving a dog that doesn't need to be saved in a hurricane or tornado under a bridge. And he doesn't paint his mother's house. And he let his mother stay in poverty. And she has to work as a waitress.
Okay.
He's off hitchhiking.
I would gladly watch Man of Steel over Secret Invasion. It's one of my favorite comic book movies. Not my favorite, but one of the favorites. Okay. Is Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice better than Secret Invasion? And this one clocked in at 2 hours 31 minutes, the theatrical version.
They're similar. They're tied a bit. I like the Batman portrayal in that one. I thought it was going somewhere and then it doesn't go somewhere. See, the beginning of it I like, and then it goes to crap. So Secret
is this
Invasion,
better
same
or worse?
thing. The beginning was good and then it went to crap. I think that's better.
You think this is better than Secret Invasion?
I think it's better than Secret Invasion.
but
we're almost tied.
This is probably my least favorite DCEU movie.
It started out good.
And I would rather watch the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman at 3 hours and 2 minutes than watching Secret Invasion again. This is better than Secret Invasion. Okay. Is David Ayer's Suicide Squad from 2016.
Is that the one with Cara Levine doing
her doing her flippity-floppity thing. Is this better or worse than Secret Invasion? Do you want the runtime on it?
It wasn't very good.
It's 2 hours, 3 minutes.
It wasn't very good.
It did have some fun stuff in it. Captain Boomerang there.
It was concise. And it had a mission. If it failed the mission, it was kind of stupid, but it did it. I think it was, I'm going to say it was better in that it wasn't wiggly-piggly. Like
I agree. This is better than Secret Invasion. I would watch that. Okay. Is, from 2017, is Wonder Woman better than Secret Invasion? The first one.
All that stuff when they're in the, where's that place called she's from? The Mascara. That beats out Secret Invasion, so I'll give it to that one.
I agree. This is better than Secret Invasion. I would watch all of these over Secret Invasion. Is, from 2017, Joss Whedon's Justice League. Remember we had that big helping of justice?
Oh, no. This one's worse. This is,
you would rather watch Secret Invasion.
Big.
at 3 hours and 43 minutes.
That's terrible.
Over watching
terrible.
this, that is exactly 2 hours.
Mm-mm. That movie shouldn't have been
This
made.
is worse for you than
bad.
Secret Invasion. I'm gonna disagree with you on that. This one
That's
is actually
bad.
better than Secret Invasion, and it's way shorter. So, but for you, it's worse.
Bad.
So far, I don't have any movies or TV shows that are worse than Secret Invasion for me. Okay, is 2018's Aquaman better than Secret Invasion or worse?
Worse.
Oh.
Way worse.
Really?
That movie is a turd of a movie.
So fun.
It's not fun. It's ridiculous and stupid and a waste of the actors and a waste of everything. They are so wooden and it's so silly and stupid. I hate that movie.
You're so angry about this. I love this movie and I had a really fun time every time I watch this. This is better than Secret Invasion for me, but you're just adding to your list. You're making enemies.
I don't
People
care.
are not
It's
gonna
a
like
sucky
this.
movie. Bring it on.
Is 2019's Shazam better than Secret Invasion?
Oh, way better.
Yes, I agree. This is a really fun movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really hilarious. Is 2020's Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn better than Secret Invasion?
It's better, but I don't like the undertones of it.
Fair point. Okay. I think it's better as well. I had fun with this one. Is 2020's Wonder Woman 84 better than Secret Invasion?
I didn't like parts of it, but it's still better.
Yeah. You like seeing the 80s.
Well, it wasn't done right. It was more like the 90s, but anyway.
Okay. I also agree this was better, and I had a fun time with that film. Is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad from 2021 better than Secret Invasion?
Times better.
Yeah, this is an amazing movie. Even if you don't like any of these superhero movies, check out this. It's not for kids, but it's a great time. It's a good movie, whether you like superhero stuff or not. Is I think it's from 2022. Season 1 of Peacemaker.
Now, see, this is a comparable thing. This is the same kind of thing. It's the same thing. It's a series, and it has the same exact topic. It's the same subject matter. This Peacemaker is like 50 times better.
Oh, yeah.
Than
It's
Secret
the same
Invasion.
basic story, and they do a way better job.
And it's a series the same. It is so much better.
Yeah. This is way better than Secret Invasion, and I'll watch this season of first season over and over again compared to Secret Invasion.
Eagly. If Eagly would have come into Secret Invasion, that would have made it like 10 points
Is Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam from 2022 better than Secret Invasion?
Yes.
I had a lot of fun with this one. This is definitely better than Secret Invasion.
But it's better.
Disagree. I think it's
it's better.
Amazingly fun, and it's better.
It could have been better.
From this year, we got Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which flopped hard at the box office. Is this better than Secret Invasion?
Yes,
much
better.
Definitely.
Much better.
I had a fun time with it. It's not as good as the first one, but I had fun with it. Is The Flash with Michael Keaton back as Batman. Ezra Miller, who's a terrible person, did a good job as The Flash, and then you got Supergirl in it. I can't remember the actress name. Is this better than Secret Invasion?
Yes, it's better.
Oh yeah, this is a fun time. If you haven't seen this one for yourself, check it out because it's a great time.
It's better.
This is definitely better. Now it hasn't come out yet, but is Blue Beetle better than Secret Invasion? I think it's around 2 hours.
It is better. It's just bland.
Yeah, it's generic. Okay, I agree. That one is Blue Beetle is definitely better than Secret Invasion.
You can have Red Ladybug.
So far, for me, Secret Invasion is probably... Oh! We forgot one for the MCU.
We forgot one?
Yeah. Hawkeye.
No, I didn't like that series and I stopped watching it.
Hawkeye clocked in at 4 hours, 2 minutes.
I didn't like it.
From 6 episodes.
I didn't like that series at all.
So is Hawkeye better than Secret Invasion?
No,
or worse?
It must be worse because I didn't finish watching it.
Maybe you should finish watching it sometime.
I just didn't like it.
Okay, so that's another one on your list.
Secret Invasion, I kept on thinking, is it going to be better? Is it going to make sense next episode? Is it going to be better? Is it going to make sense? We wanted to see if the aliens made it or didn't.
But I would argue even that first episode of Secret Invasion was bad.
Yeah, but I liked the story better. Put it that way.
Well, for me, Hawkeye was better than Secret Invasion. I made it through it. There's a lot that wasn't great, but I mean, Tracksuit Mafia.
I didn't
Bro.
care for that.
Bro.
I didn't care for that at all.
It was so
like,
funny.
you give me the guys, like, in Barry, you give me those guys are great. Like, Hank, you give me those guys. This tracks, that was just that wasn't great.
I think they needed to be more funny and incompetent, but they were still pretty funny for me.
Give me someone like Ali G or something.
So I'd say Hawkeye is better than Secret Invasion. So for me, as it stands right now, Secret Invasion is the worst thing in the MCU that I've seen, and it's and it's also worse than everything that's in the DCEU, which does have some stinkers that people don't like. But you got 6 properties so far.
Yeah. I really didn't like these movies. Like, this Aquaman is absolutely stupid. It made me so mad.
It's fun.
Especially
it's a fun
with, what's his name was in it. It's such a waste of his talent.
Patrick Wilson?
No.
William Dafoe?
He was the worst, but William Dafoe is such a waste. And this Justice League shouldn't have been made. This is rotten.
Well.
And this bullshit.
You're making enemies here, dear.
And this, learn how to give some actors with some kind of, like, at least could smile or not stand like geese in a line. And this was just disturbing, and I stopped watching it. So there you go.
Ooh, there's going to be a lot of Americans upset with you at that one, but okay. Well, join us next time for our... We're not going to do it every week, but do you have any thoughts on what could be worse than Secret Invasion? Because people are still pissed off on that. Let us know down in the comments below, as well as what you think of Christine's interesting choices there. Try and be civil, though. Okay, thank you for joining us for another segment of Is This Better Than Secret Invasion? Wrapping up today's show, if you want to get in touch with us, you can go ahead and contact us on social media. It's down in the description below. Also, our email is down there. If you want to talk to either Christine or myself, share your views. If you got any suggestions on movie franchises to watch, because Christine's is going to be coming to an end soon, because there's only 10 Tarantino movies. And what we might do is might only do one franchise at a time. I'll finish up the Power of Family, those 11 Fast and Furious movies that I'm enjoying watching, and then we'll start another one, and it'll be your choice, and we'll just alternate. So if you want to send in suggestions, also you can start thinking about what you want to watch.
We did have an idea of the next one, which ones we were going to watch.
Yeah. Anyway, but if people want to send in suggestions, go right ahead down in the comments below, or email or social media. We've been getting a lot of comments from people. So thank you to everyone for leaving us comments. It's always great to hear from people. Our buddy Cliff Coulter 9161, who likes to talk about Star Wars Ahsoka. I believe he sent me even more stuff.
Is he liking what's going on?
Let's see. Well, he was laughing at my reply because I keep mentioning his blood pressure and that because he's keeps complaining about
the series.
Let's see. He says complaining about TV does keep my blood pressure down. The thing that really kills me is the colossal waste of money. To think that everything everywhere all at once was done on a budget of 15 to 25 million, I think Star Wars would do well to reduce the budget and bring in fresh blood with new creative ideas. I agree there.
I guess he's not caring for it.
His previous comments are saying that's not. But anyway, thanks for the message there, Cliff. I agree with you there. A lot of these studios, their budgets just completely ballooned, and unfortunately a lot of that was due to the pandemic, and that's why we've had so many movies lately fail. But even the Star Wars ones and all the other Disney Plus shows, if a lot of the stuff now that was filmed during the pandemic, huge production costs, fortunately, because of restrictions.
But now we've got inflation.
Yeah, and now there's inflation, and there's the strikes.
Well,
so once the studios run out of new content, there's not going to be much to watch. We're just going to be rewatching old stuff, which is fine for me.
I'm sure that they do a lot of waste of things. They need a stingy person to go in and look at it.
Okay. Cliff, we got episode 6 of Ahsoka this week. Tell us what you thought of that, either on this video or on my Ahsoka video that I posted earlier this week.
The story is going forward. It's just there's a bit some tedious.
We got a comment from someone I didn't know, a new person, Rant à l'amour. Domain. This was on our Wheel of Time stuff, which people are enjoying your Wheel of Time reviews. Damane are the name Sinchen used for collared enslaved women who can channel. We have not met the Dark One. Ishmael is his highest henchman.
Yeah, I knew he was his henchman,
Yeah.
but that's the thing, we don't know who the Dark One is.
Okay, let me finish reading his
Yeah.
comment. Suroth, the bald lady, is a Sanchen invader general and is a fellow Dark friend secretly working with Ishmael. Turok, the bald guy with the bone headpiece, is the head general of the invasion for the Sanchen. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know.
He does not seem to be a Dark friend and doesn't know Ishmael is.
Yeah.
Who he is. Anyway, thank you very much for your comments there, because we wouldn't know that stuff.
He's the guy that gives them manicures.
I'm guessing this man or woman is probably one of the book readers.
See, this is the problem. You don't really get what's really going on. Like, it takes a lot. Like, it's just a bit, I don't know, they haven't filled in on the backstory and some of this stuff, so it makes it a bit confusing. Well, but I am enjoying it, though.
Yep. We heard again from Patrick-KH4BX. He was making comments on Wheel of Time as well. He said, I'm a book reader, loving the show. I'm glad to hear that Christine is enjoying season 2, even if she finds it a bit confusing and gloomy. Yeah, you were saying that. Yes. I hope you at least stick with it through to the end of season 2. There should be a lot of payoff, plot development, reveals, etc. over the next 3 episodes. In another comment, I'll try to explain the various conflicts.
There has been a lot more, but again, like, I'm a bit, they took a long time to bring these enemies into it, and we haven't seen enough of their backstory, and that's what's making it like not as full as it could be, I feel.
Oh, jeez. He left a really long comment about
I'll read it later, but
the conflicts.
This is the problem, because
sorry, I can't read that all out.
We haven't seen much of these bad guys, and what we have seen has been rather confusing. We don't get the overview of this entire world and how large it is and how it spans. Like, they need that scene, like, with Game of Thrones showing the world, because I'm not really getting it. Exactly where
there's no map?
People. No, there's no map.
That sucks.
We need a map.
Even Tolkien always had maps.
Yeah, see, we need a map, because we need more backstory of these people, and I think it would make it a lot better. I would understand more of the threat, because I'm not getting exactly who they all are.
Let me just read a little bit of Patrick's comment here. He said, the big conflict in Wheel of Time is good versus evil. In show terms, the light versus the dark, the shadows. Okay, that makes sense. The creator is the cosmic force on the side of the light and is very hands-off. Think Christian New Testament God, if you're familiar. The Dark One is the cosmic force bent on destroying everything in existence. Very active and purposeful, but largely trapped away from reality and not a person or entity, per se. And he says, the force of darker shall come in 3 major flavors. So there's the Forsaken, the Dark Friends. That doesn't sound so bad. The Dark Friends? Actually, that sounds like a racial slur, so that's not a good title. The non-human shadow spawn. Do you know what that is?
No, and I've been really confused about when they're saying dark friends versus these henchmen and stuff. Like, this is not clear in the show.
Okay, so they haven't done enough to explain it to people who aren't familiar with the books. They haven't
showed us these people, like these dark people. I don't understand. We see them sitting around a table. We see their legs. I mean, I think they're keeping us in the dark one. I think it's ruining it somewhat, because it just makes it like when you don't know all that's going on, it just kind of pisses you off more than anything.
Okay.
Right? But I am enjoying what's happening with those characters, but I feel like I don't quite understand the threat.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for your comments there, Patrick. Appreciate it. Bill Voss 1383 also commented on Wheel of Time as well. A lot of fans out there. That's great. Shanchan culture is hard to understand. The long nails are an indication of status. They cut them off to demote her.
I got that.
Lady Soroth subdued Atwan's Mill, which is a small town, because Ishmael ordered her to do it. Yes. She got in trouble by the commander of the Shanchan. From Chinese culture in the past, emperors and family often had long nails with nail guards. It separates laborers from non-laborers. Okay, yeah, so if you got long nails, you're not doing hard labor. Jordan pulled from most cultures around the globe to create new cultures based on several known cultures. Rand and Moraine are in blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
French and Japanese cultures.
Didn't understand was why, how the structure is evolving, why this king or ruler was mad at her, but she took the fall for Ishmael. because we're not getting the whole structure of really even they're keeping the king in the dark, but why? Because we don't know how they're all united or how their structure goes in the show. Maybe in the books you do, but so far I'm a bit mixed up. Ishmael is doing his own thing, and kind of so is Lanfear. They seem to be the two evils. The other people are just people. They don't seem to have powers, and they're just people in power who are a-holes, basically. That's what
So just like real life, then.
Yeah, but we have these other mysterious people. I don't quite know exactly where they come from. Ishmael and Lanfear. I know they're bad people. They're not people, really. They're like monsters, but I still don't know much about them. And that's a bit frustrating.
Okay. Well, Bill Voss, thank you for your comments. And for everyone else, keep them coming. We'd love to hear about it. Even if you disagree with us, we want to hear your perspective on stuff.
I'm just trying to understand it.
Yeah. And I bailed on the first episode of Wheel of Time. It just wasn't for me. Oh, well. Each to their own, right? It's art, right? It's objective. It's not going to be for everyone. So, thank you very much to anyone who watched this, and Fluffy Kitty is really appreciative, and anyone who leaves us a like.
And thanks for helping with Wheel of Time, everyone. I'll read more of the comments myself now.
Yeah. If anyone out there is a big fan of the Star Wars, the new canon, the books, let me know, and do you have any suggestions of which books to check out? Because I'm just kind of reading through them, and some are good and some are not so good.
Personally, I'm finishing the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. I've got Mr. Mercedes read and the next one, and I'm on the last one.
Okay.
That's a bit crazy.
You're going to review the next book for us on the next episode?
I'll talk about the next two on the next episode. I should have finished.
You want to do two at once?
I think I'll have the two done, yeah.
All right, okay. Thanks for checking this out. Everyone, take care. You can always subscribe for more content.